welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and this week I'm going to be giving you my July acting Oscar predictions. And a lot has changed since I've done my last acting predictions video. And also another thing I want to try to do when it comes to my prediction videos is that I want to put them out a day early for members, because I feel like that's adds a little bit more of an appreciation for channel members. And if you want to catch my predictions earlier than everyone else, at least in video form, then become a channel member today. We're going to start off with Best Lead Actress, and this also comes with some information that I've been told by someone in terms of campaigning. We got, First of all, we're starting with Amy Adams with Night Bitch. Yeah, I think she's winning. I mean, the fact that she's going to be awarded the TIFF Tribute Award during the Toronto International Film Festival, I think that kind of shows that she's winning the Oscar. I mean, this is the same award that was given to Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, Anthony Hopkins for The Father, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and if I'm not mistaken, last year, Coleman Domingo was given that award for Sing Sing, although I guess they couldn't say it was for Sing Sing because the strikes were happening, but still, that's kind of big. And the fact that Amy Adams is going to be winning that this year is really, really telling. Because, again, it's just like, and the more I start thinking about it, it's like, yeah, everything feels like it's falling into place. For one, it's Searchlight. Searchlight usually gets into the Oscar race one way or another, and they didn't really have anything this year. Like, people were trying to say the Supreme's all you can eat, but that was just going straight to Hulu. And admittedly, and the reason why I've had Night Bitch so low in the list this whole time is because it just didn't sound like an Oscar player. Even the title Night Bitch, it's like, would the Oscars actually go for a title like that? Which I don't know if that's fair to assume, but like, the more I started hearing about it, and the more I started seeing, again, this whole Amy Adams Tribute Award stuff at TIFF, and the fact that I've also learned about certain things about this movie as well, including a certain transformation, like this is interesting, because I thought the movie was about Amy Adams turning, her mind is like turning into a dog. It's not that, apparently. It is, let's say, more physical than just a brain, mind thing. But still, and also, there is also the narrative around Amy Adams as well. She has never won an Oscar before. And, if this movie really gives her something juicy to work off of, then she may just win the Oscar. Again, it's weird, a movie like this getting her the win, but we'll have to see. It might just work out that way. But at the same time, that does knock down Lady Gaga for Joker. And this is why I'm now starting to wonder if Joker 2 is going to happen, because this whole thing about Joker 2 is kind of riding on Lady Gaga. Although, I'm pretty sure she could still be nominated even if the movie is not in Best Picture. But it does make it harder. She missed House of Gucci despite getting nominated everywhere. So that does make it more difficult. But still, I think right now, if Amy Adams just does not turn out to happen, then Lady Gaga could still be in winning contention for Joker 2. Also, we have Angelina Jolie for Maria. I think she's just going to end up sweeping the Critics Awards, unless Amy Adams really, really does turn out to be like a big thing during the critic circles. We'll have to see. But Angelina Jolie, I could definitely see sweeping critic circles. I mean, what's her Natalie Portman was sweeping critic circles for Jackie, and Kristen Stewart was sweeping critic circles for Spencer. So it would probably make sense that Angelina Jolie is sweeping critic circles for Maria. Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door. Again, this movie could get into Best Picture. And the fact of the matter is, Pedro Almodovar gets actors nominated for Oscars. Like, he did it for Antonio Banderas. He did it for Penelope Cruz. Even when Penelope Cruz got nominated nowhere, she still got nominated for the Oscar. And Tilda Swinton could definitely do that, especially since this is Pedro Almodovar's first English language feature. I could definitely see this getting a couple of acting nominations, which we will mention here in a bit. And this is where that exclusive information comes from. I don't know if it's really exclusive, because I mean, you could literally look at it from like the Twitter replies, so it's like, since it's public Twitter replies, I'm assuming I can just say this. I've been told that Netflix is going to campaign Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez in lead actress. Like, a lot of people were saying it was going to be supporting actress, but no, don't do that. I have been told that Zoe Saldana is going to be lead. She's going to be campaigning lead for this movie. And not only that, Carla Sofia Gascon is, like, Netflix hasn't decided where they're putting her. So that's interesting. I don't know what, I have a feeling, and I'll get more into it later on when we get to Carla Sofia Gascon, but I have a feeling they might put her in supporting actress. Trying to campaign lead actors together is a bit of a risky move, because I honestly don't know when was the last time we've had like double lead actor or double lead actress nominees. So it's not common, which makes me think they are going to put Carla Sofia Gascon in supporting actress. But still, with Zoe Saldana, I have gotten confirmation that she will be campaigned in lead actress for Emilia Perez. So don't put her in supporting, she's lead. Now, that being said, like, admittedly, the more I think about Emilia Perez, the more I'm thinking, like, there's a lot of acting potential in this movie. And even if you don't nominate all the actresses, like, let's say, Selena Gomez, you could still potentially have a SAG player. I mean, especially, even though, granted, you know, I don't think Selena Gomez is going to end up getting nominated, you could see that Selena Gomez would help this movie's reputation. You know, sort of like how Jamie Lee Curtis helped Everything Ever All at Once's reputation, which, granted, these are two different scenarios. Jamie Lee Curtis won the Oscar. I don't think Selena Gomez is winning the Oscar here. And also, Jamie Lee Curtis is like an industry veteran that's been around for decades, and Selena Gomez, at best, has been around for 2 decades. At most. I mean, granted, she was on Barney the Dinosaur, but you know what you know what I mean, you know? Like, I don't think Selena Gomez is ultimately going to come along with the nominations, but I do think her being such a big star as she is, like, she could probably get this movie out more in the spotlight, considering this is a Spanish language film. So, yeah, there's some good arguments to be made for Emilia Perez's, like, big Oscar prospects, and I feel like it could be something. It could be something, and I think Zoe Saldana will get nominated here. I mean, if they're putting her, even though, granted, it is a bit crowded, but still. And that also means I'm taking out Saoirse Ronan for Blitz. Now, this could still happen, but there is some information being put out there that she's sort of the lead, but she's also sort of supporting, even though Apple is going to be campaigning her in lead actress. Which, admittedly, like, that, I guess that does mean I have, like, 2 of these performances are not from Best Picture nominees, but, again, I mean, considering we're talking about Angelina Jolie and Tilda Swinton, and Saoirse Ronan has, like, even though I think Saoirse Ronan has more Oscar nominations than Tilda Swinton, and probably also more than Angelina Jolie, the fact of the matter is, Angelina Jolie and Tilda Swinton are Oscar winners, so they kind of have a big advantage. And again, that's also why I'm not putting Mikey Madison in there for Honora. Again, I've heard you guys' arguments, but again, like, I don't think Honora is going to win Best Picture. I don't think Honora is going to win Best Picture, and we've seen that being a relative newcomer, that can hurt you. That can hurt you. Again, look at Greta Lee for Past Lives. For the longest time, we thought, yeah, Greta Lee's gonna get nominated, And then at the end of the day, we were like, well, Margot Robbie's too strong. She got nominated anywhere, like everywhere. And then it turns out both Margot Robbie and Greta Lee get snubbed out in favor of Annette Bening, the veteran. And so I feel like a lot of this is, a lot of the competition is a bit too crowded. And again, I just don't really see Anora winning Best Picture. So, so I feel like it would make it a little bit harder for Mikey Madison to get nominated. Again, especially now since Amy Adams has joined the race. Like, I think that just made it harder. Jessica Lange for Long Day's Journey into Night. I don't even know if this movie exists anymore. Like, I keep thinking, oh yeah, Long Day's Journey into Night's gonna happen, but nothing ever comes of it. It's like, where's the trailer? Where's the release date? When is this movie coming out? Like, good God, this movie, I think, wrapped filming a while ago. Why is it not out yet? So, I don't know what's going on with this movie, and I'm worried that it's going to be considered a disaster if they're like taking this long with it. I mean, look what happened with what was it? Next Go Wins. They took forever to release that movie. Now, granted, part of it was due in part to Armie Hammer, but still, I can't imagine it caused that much of a delay in releasing it. So, yeah. Regina King and Shirley. I don't think she ends up getting the Oscar nomination, but I could see SAG. I could see like a SAG nomination coming for her. Like, the movie dropped on Netflix and it's kind of been nowhere. Like, no one really cares about Shirley. I mean, hell, good God, I hear less people talk about Shirley than they did for Rustin. Although at the same time, Rustin did like air on Netflix like at the right time. Like, it was right during award season, and it's like, all right, cool. Coleman Domingo's right there. Shirley, I think, released in March or May or something. Like, releasing it that early in the year, not a good plan. At least if they really have confidence in it. Ryan Destiny for The Fire Inside. I do think The Fire Inside is going to get in Best Picture as of right now. But, however, again, I don't think it's going to be winning anything. And again, very, very much a newcomer. And that has proven in the past to be very, very hard to pull off, especially if it's a crowded category. Because, yeah, Paul Mescal got in for Aftersun and no one really knew who he was. But at the same time, the category was like really, really weak. Like, no one, like Hugh Jackman was in a movie that everyone hated. Tom Cruise, sure, he was in Top Gun Maverick, but also it's like, no, I am glad it didn't happen, but, it's like, that's not really like an Oscar-worthy performance. And then, you had Adam Sandler for Hustle, but that clearly just seemed to be a SAG thing. Again, much like how I think Regina King for Shirley is going to be. Basically, I just think if you're going to have a newcomer come in, you're gonna need the category to be very weak, and right now this category is not looking weak. It's looking very, very strong. Lily Gladstone for Fancy Dance. I mean, hey, look, here's hoping. I mean, like, they got snubbed for that Oscar win, but and Fancy Dance is getting very good reviews, but it may not really. It might just be like an indie thing, like that film. But yeah, one of these days, although maybe you could see, like, but then again, I don't know. Is there really a narrative there for Fancy Dance? Because Fancy Dance is really just kind of not really anywhere. Like, sure, it got very good reviews. Actually, let me check. Yeah, Fancy Dance has like a 95% of Rotten Tomatoes, but it's also a 7.40 rating. And so, like, people don't really love it, which is sad. Even the reviews on Metacritic, it's like 77%. It's like people like it, but they don't really love it. It's a shame. So, like, again, I'm just kind of putting Lily Gladstone there because maybe one of these days, but I don't know. Robin Wright for Here. I think I had Robin Wright in last month, maybe. If not, it was close. But yeah, like, I don't know. Like, having seen that trailer for Here, it just makes me think it's not going to be an Oscar player outside of visual effects. And even then, visual effects is kind of, who knows what might happen there, but I think it, like, at least in terms of what you see with the effects, I don't think they're going to be as, like, jarring as a lot of people think. Zendaya for Challengers, I don't know, like, Marianne Jean-Baptiste for Hard Truths. Admittedly, it's, like, I don't know about this, like, sure, like, the writer and director or whoever, like, Mike Lee, like, that is worth noting, but it's also Bleecker Street, distributing this film. And that they suck at campaigning. They really, really suck at campaigning. So, yeah, and seriously running for the outrun, I don't know. I'm just kind of rounding out the list at this point. Lead actor. Good God, I have no idea what to do here. I have no idea what to do here. I still have the top three. Coma Domingo and Sing Sing, Paul Bettany in the collaboration, and Nicholas Hoult in juror number 2. Coma Domingo, his character is... It technically is a biopic character. Like, this character, he actually exists in real life. So you could say that, yeah, it is technically a biopic performance. But you also have Paul Bettany for the collaboration, and there's a good chance the BAFTAs might really like the collaboration and Paul Bettany. Like, he's playing Andy Warhol. So, who knows? Although, granted, I don't know if Andy Warhol, like, it's weird. Like, is Andy Warhol really, like, a very notable person that's going to be, like, really in contention to win the Oscar? But at the same time, or the BAFTA, or, like, I just don't know. So, it really, really is tough, because there's just not a lot of other options. Nicholas Hoult for juror number 2. If I'm predicting juror number 2 for Best Picture, I want to have him in there, especially given the lineup that we have. I'm finally caving and I'm putting Daniel Craig in for Queer. I still have my reservations about this movie. Like, I don't know how big this film's gonna be. But again, because I'm looking at some of these other options down, like, after 5, and it's like, what do I have left? And John David Washington for The Piano Lesson, I kind of realized if I'm predicting Samuel L. Jackson for a nomination, Daniel Deadweiler for a nomination, then John David Washington in lead actor is probably not a crazy idea for a nomination. But again, I'm not even that confident in it. And then you have Joaquin Phoenix and Joker Folie à Deux at number 6. And I don't know. I just don't know if the Oscars are going to nominate him again for this performance. I mean, I'm not saying whether they should or shouldn't, but I just don't know. I don't know. Like, because I just don't, like, other than, like, again, the last time I think, like, someone was nominated for a sequel, well, actually, no, like, the last time someone was nominated for a sequel, like, nominated for an Oscar for a sequel where they also got nominated for the previous installments. I guess you could say Sylvester Stallone for Creed. But I think before that, you would have to go back to Elizabeth the Golden Age with Cate Blanchett. And before that, you probably have to go back to, what was it, Al Pacino in The Godfather Part 3? I think he was nominated for all 3 Godfather movies. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Joker's going to be in the same conversation as those. So, I don't know. But again, there's not a lot of other good options. Sebastian Stan in A Different Man, other than makeup, I don't know if that's going to happen. If I'm going to be honest, I don't know if that's happening. Ray Fiennes in Conclave, I've been hearing more and more from people that Conclave is not going to be an Oscar player. Like, people who have read the book are like, nope, it's not that kind of movie. So I'm like, damn it. Jesse Plemons in Kinds of Kindness, I think out of all the actors in Kinds of Kindness, maybe Jesse Plemons, because people are really, really talking about him. But at the same time, it is an anthology, and I just don't know if they're going to do that. But again, he could. I mean, with this lineup, maybe. I mean, remember when I was saying how lead actress has so much competition? There's not a lot of competition in lead actor, so surprises can pop up right here. And speaking of here, Tom Hanks in here. Again, I dropped him out because I'm looking at the trailer and it's like, No, this is not going to be an Oscar contender. Paul Mescal for Gladiator 3. I'm already predicting Gladiator. No, wait, did I say Gladiator 3? I mean Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2, I'm already expecting it a bunch of nominations, including one that you're about to see later on in this video. But man, if Paul Mescal was in serious contention to be nominated for lead actor for Gladiator 2, I would have to start assuming if Gladiator 2 is going to be in Best Picture, and that I don't know if I'm ready to call that yet. I don't know if I'm ready to call Gladiator 2 in Best Picture quite yet. I think I would actually unlike some of these other ones where I can make good guesses based on the filmmaker's previous works or, the general vibe. Like, for example, I can maybe make an assumption that juror number 2 is going to be generally agreeable because, sure, Clint Eastwood has made some misses in the past, but he has had a few big hits, and this one doesn't seem like it's going to be leading to too much controversy. Not as much as, Richard Jewell or something like that. But but with Ridley Scott, it really is you have to wait until how people respond to the movie. If the movie is at least very well, somewhat pretty well received, we'll even say maybe in the 80s, I could probably start considering it heavily for Best Picture. If there is a section of people that are very passionate about Gladiator 2. And at number 12, I have Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. I'm starting to think this movie does not exist. Apparently one of the producers is a Trump supporter, and he is holding this movie hostage, and no studio is willing to touch this movie. Now, God, I don't know I don't know if this movie's even coming out this year. I know that the filmmakers probably wanted to come out this year before the election. But with all the legal hurdles this movie is facing, I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to do it. I think at this point I have to wait until it actually gets a distributor and a release date. Because if it gets a distributor and a release date, then I feel like it could maybe come back up in the nominations. Because there is a good narrative for this film, and people seem to like it. They don't really love it, but again, especially with how politics are going now, maybe you could see people really trying to push this movie forward when it comes to the election. God knows what's going to happen there. I've brought back Kingsley Benadir for Bob Marley One Love. I don't know if I had him in last time. Maybe I did. At least in the top 15. Again, I'm willing to consider him back because this category is very, very weak. So there might be a chance, even though no one liked Bob Marley One Love, and I don't think anyone saw it, if the category is going to be this week, maybe he can slip in. But then again, Hugh Jackman didn't slip in with The Sun, and everyone hated that movie too, so yeah, I don't know. Timothée Chalamet for Dune Part 2. Again, on paper, this makes sense. His performance in this is stronger than that than in the first film, and it is probably the most likely film of the bunch to be in Best Picture. But again, I don't know if they're going to nominate Dune for any acting Oscars. Even with Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, it wasn't it wasn't Elijah Wood getting the attention. It was Ian McKellen, which I think Ian McKellen even won SAG. Andrew Garfield for We Live in Time and Andre Holland for The Actor. I'm just kind of putting them in there just to consider them, but admittedly, I don't really know what's going on with those movies. I don't know too much about them, but nothing. Again, it's just really tough. It is really tough, with this category, because good God, who knows what's going to happen with this? So yeah, supporting actress. This is where I sort of think maybe Danielle Deadwyler might win. Although again, I don't really have any honestly, any one of the top 4 could probably win, maybe. And yeah, this is where I said Carlos Sofia. This is not part of the information that was told to me. Again, I was told that Zoe Saldana was being campaigned in lead actress. But also that Carlos Sofia Gascon, Netflix is still trying to figure out where they are going to campaign her in. I feel like they might go with supporting actress. Like, looking at the trailer, it just looks like a supporting role. So we'll see about that. But again, who knows? Maybe Carla Sofia Gascon could be like the Troy Kotzer of the bunch, where like, yeah, like she starts to get traction. I'm very sure the gold, like the BAFTAs are not going to choose her. Like, she might get saved by the jury, but I don't know. But who knows? Right now I'm going with Daniel Detweiler for the piano lesson because like August Wilson plays do tend to be very big acting contenders. And, you know, again, there's not as much competition, ironically, as enough as there was in 2020. So we'll have to see. Julianne Moore for The Room Next Door. That could also happen. Like, Julianne Moore could maybe win here, but again, we'll have to see. Toni Collette for juror number 2. Again, this is because I do feel like juror number 2 is going to be stronger of a contender than people think. But again, who knows? Carla Sofia Gascon and Emilia Perez. Let's talk about this. Like, this makes me, like, maybe one of the reasons why I feel like they're going to put Carla Sofia Gascon in supporting actress is, like, if she were to get, she would become, like, the first trans, nominated, actress out there. Like, the first trans nominated actress. I mean, obviously there have been actors and actresses that have transitioned after their nominations. You know, look at Elliot Page. But, you know, this would be like the first time I think a trans person, in this case a trans woman, would be nominated, like, after having transitioned. And there is a bit of a thing in my head that makes me wonder, are the you know, because here's the thing: she could either be winning competitive or she might not get nominated. That's the thing I'm a bit worried about. Because let's face it, there still is a bunch of, you know, trepidations when it comes to the trans community. Like, it's not good, you know. But I'm hoping you know, if this performance really is like as deserving as everyone says it is, I really hope they will, like, the Oscars will have the courage to go for a performance, you know, from a trans woman. I'm hoping that would be the case because again, there's a lot. Let's just say there are a lot of J.K. Rowlings in this world, and we don't really know how many are going to be voting in the acting category. So we'll have to see. I mean, I hope if the performance is very deserving, I hope it happens. But we'll have to see. But again, if she does get nominated and Emilia Perez is like really big, I do think she could be in winning contention. But again, that's what I'm kind of thinking. She's either in winning contention or she is in contention to lose out on a nomination. That's kind of the situation I'm in right now. So we'll have to see. Natasha Lyonne for His Three Daughters. I guess I am putting her in because this movie, like, doesn't really seem like it's going to be, like, a big thing. But again, there's not a lot of other contenders out there. I mean, there is Selena Gomez for Emilia Perez, but I don't think Selena Gomez is going to be, maybe they might not campaign her that hard and maybe give more of the attention to Zoe Saldana and Carla Sofia Gascon. So I don't know if Selena Gomez is going to come along with the nominations. Again, if this movie, I do think there is a chance this movie does get into the, you know, SAG Ensemble category, and maybe this just happens. You know, or at the very least, like, when I say that, I mean, like, maybe, like, you know, Selena Gomez's reputation might help this movie become more visible to American audiences, so they can nominate this film in a big way. We'll have to see. Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor for The Nickel Boys. Well, I watched the Oscar Experts video, and he said that she's playing the grandmother and not an investigator. But again, I don't know whether or not this movie's going to be a big thing. I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know if The Nickel Boys are going to be a big Oscar player. So, like, I think I would need to see a trailer first, because this is the one where I'm like, I have no idea what this movie, like, even is. And what I mean by that is, like, I don't know what the tone of this movie is. Like, I can pretty much figure out what the tone of Juror Number 2 is going to be. I could pretty much figure what the tone of, like, the piano lesson is going to be, or the room next door, because we have some stuff to jump off of. The Nickel Boys, I need to see something. I need to see a trailer that makes me go, okay, yep, this is a thing, or nope, it is not. Kathy Burke for Blitz, again, this was said where it's like Kathy Burke has gotten a lot of BAFTA nominations, but I don't know if that's going to repeat, because again, from what we're hearing, Blitz is not that big of an acting thing. Like, it's probably going to be more of an ensemble, and admittedly, I don't really want to predict Kathy Burke if I'm not predicting Saoirse Ronan. I don't want to do that. Isabel Rossellini for Conclave. Again, I'm just hearing that Conclave is just not a thing. Don't try it. So yeah, Joan Chen for Dee Dee. I really want to see how people respond to Dee Dee. If this movie is very successful, if people fall in love with this movie, then I could probably have it back in the Best Picture race. I just need to see how audiences respond to Dee Dee. If they respond to this on the level of, like, Past Lives, where, granted, Past Lives only ended up getting 2 Oscar nominations and didn't win any of them, if it's just shown to be one of the biggest, like one of the most praised films of the year, then I think I might put Dee Dee back in, or at the very least, if audiences don't let go of it. But even then, like, the reviews for Dee Dee are interesting, because, like, on Rotten Tomatoes, it does have 91%, but it's got like a 7.5 out of 10 overall, like, average rating, and on Metacritic, it's 77. So it's like, people just seem to generally like this movie, and so I don't know. Maybe Dee Dee is not happening. Leslie Manville in Queer. Again, I'm already trying to figure out what this movie is. We'll have to see. Elizabeth Olsen for His Three Daughters. I don't know. I feel like from what I'm hearing, if anyone's going to get the nomination, it would be Natasha Lyonne. Aaron Kellyman for Blitz. Again, I'm just kind of putting. At this point, here on down, I'm just kind of filling out the list with maybes, but I don't think they're going to happen. Like Connie Nielsen for Gladiator 2, Aubrey Plaza for Megalopolis, and Catherine Keener for Joker Folie à Deux. I know some people are wondering, oh, well, maybe Catherine Keener is playing a character from the comics, but I'm like, I don't think, I can't, like, as someone who knows a bit about DC characters, I don't know what Catherine Keener would have to play for them to go like, oh, Oscar nomination. Because, like, I don't know, like, I genuinely don't know what DC character she would have to play. Because, I mean, hell, I would say if she was playing Amanda Waller, I think there'd be probably more backlash than, you know, oh yeah, give her an Oscar nomination. Because, like, but I don't think I can't think of a character that Catherine Keener would be playing that would warrant an Oscar nomination. Like, I just don't know. I mean, hell, there's literally Brendan Gleeson in the movie. I don't think he's going to be playing anyone big or major. So, yeah. And then the last one is supporting actor. Where all right, let's just get through some of the ones that, you know, I think are happening. This is a race between Clarence Macklin and Samuel L. Jackson. I have heard some of the arguments against Clarence Macklin, but I don't. And again, I've not seen Sing Sing, so maybe, you know, I'm willing to be wrong here. But it would just be weird for me to say Sing Sing is winning Best Picture, and with all the praise that Clarence Macklin is getting, he doesn't come along with it. I just don't know that, especially over Samuel L. Jackson, whose film is not even probably going to be in Best Picture. Like, that's big. That's kind of a big deal here. Like, because I could easily see the SAGs going for Clarence Macklin here. But yeah, we'll have to see where it comes down to those two. And then this is where the big change comes in. I'm doing it. Denzel Washington and Gladiator 2. I think this may actually happen. Because, and again, I'm kind of going back to the Oscar expert video. I swear I have original thoughts of my own. But Brother Bro pointed out something to me, or like maybe not to me, but you know, when I was watching the video, he pointed out Denzel Washington just gets nominated. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Yeah. Unless Denzel Washington is in like some random Antoine Fuqua action movie, like, he'll get nominated for anything, even if it's not in Best Picture. Look at the tragedy in Macbeth. Not like didn't get a Best Picture nomination anywhere, and yet he still got in for that. Flight was not in Best Picture, and yet he still got in. And Roman G. Israel Esquire. No one fucking saw that movie, and yet Denzel Washington got in because he's Denzel Washington. Like, he got in over some big contenders, like James Franco for The Disaster Artist. So I feel like if Denzel Washington can get in for Roman G. Israel Esquire, a movie that, again, literally no one saw, like, it was a complete box office flop, and it wasn't even that expensive to make anyway. If he can get in for Roman G. Israel Esquire, why would he not get in for Gladiator 2? A sequel to a film that won Best Picture, which, again, granted, there might be a chance that Gladiator 2 is not very well received. But neither was Roman G. Israel Esquire. And the trailer does drop in a few days, so we'll definitely get a taste of Denzel Washington's performance. But just looking at this guy, like, he looks like he's playing like a big villain. And that, good God, I'm actually very excited for this performance, to be honest. And, I kind of do agree with the sentiment that, Gladiator 2 is either going to be, like, at least at the Oscars, as big as Napoleon or more. And Denzel Washington coming along with it, like, makes a lot of sense. Now, someone in the comment section in my last video did say, like, if he saw that, Denzel Washington got a BAFTA nomination, then they would predict them. But I don't know. I think even if Denzel Washington misses the BAFTA, which he probably will, the BAFTAs hate Denzel Washington, he would still get in for the Oscar. He would just still, because again, he's Denzel. Again, what more do I have to say? Roman J. Israel Esquire. No one saw that movie, and he still got nominated. So yeah, I feel like that. I feel like he might just come along with it. J.K. Simmons for juror number 2. I don't know for sure. He might be playing the judge, but I'm not exactly sure. But if I, like, he's sort of one of the reasons why I'm predicting juror number 2 in Best Picture, because that's kind of like a bit like Clint Eastwood casting J.K. Simmons in this role. Like, it just makes it sound a little bit more serious. Like, oh wow, this is gonna be something. And I think out of all the nominations, out of all the category, out of all the potential acting nominees, he might be the most likely one. And it makes sense because Clint Eastwood, even with Richard Jewell, Kathy Bates still got nominated for supporting actress. And hot take, deservingly so. I didn't really think the movie was all that great, but I thought Kathy Bates was great in it. But yeah. And Brian Tyree Henry for The Fire Inside. I am predicting The Fire Inside for Best Picture. But I feel like if you're going to nominate that for Best Picture, Brian Tyree Henry needs to come along with it. So yeah. Jeremy Pope for the collaboration might happen. He might happen. I mean, I am kind of thinking that the collaboration is on the cusp for a Best Picture nomination. Like, The Two Popes didn't get nominated, and yet that was written by Anthony McCartan. But The Two Popes probably would have been nominated if there were 10 nominees. And then there was I Want to Dance with Somebody, but I feel like that just might be a complete anomaly. So we'll have to see. Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain. I don't know. Something is just really making me think that this is like a critical darling that doesn't really go anywhere at the Oscars. That's just kind of what I'm thinking. Harris Dickinson for Blitz. Again, I'm still keeping him out because if I can't even put Saoirse Ronan in, I can't put him in. Drew Starkey for Queer. This is a new addition because people are saying, well, if it's a romance film between Daniel Craig and this character, then I'm like, maybe, but I just don't know anything about Queer. That's the thing. Paul Raci and Sing Sing. If they really, really love Sing Sing, he might come along with it. But everything I've been hearing from people is that he's not that big in the movie. We'll have to see. Again, we'll have to see. Paul Bettany in here. I'm just, again, this right here is where we're kind of just putting in the placeholder contenders because I don't really know. I don't know where to look else for anyone else. But Paul Bettany in here, again, I just don't think it's going to be that big. John Lithgow and Stanley Tucci for Conclave. Again, from what I'm hearing, Conclave is not going to be as big of an Oscar player as people think. Javier Bardem and Austin Butler for Dune Part 2. Again, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't mind if they got in, but I don't know. Something is making me think that, like again, it's just like big spectacle movies like this just don't really get into the acting nominations, really. Not like, yeah. And yeah, guys, those are my predictions for the acting categories in my July Oscar predictions. Now I'm going to pass the question off to you. What do you think of my predictions? What are your predictions for the acting categories as of this month? Thank you guys so much for watching, and consider hitting that subscribe button, because if you don't, Denzel Washington will never get nominated again.